today มื้อนี้สิขายหมักมี่เนาะหมักมี่หมัก jackfruit. Today I'm gonna open the jackfruit for you. We were able to go to the store. I've been keeping my eyes out on the ad to see when they go on sale, and so we were lucky that when they were on sale, we went and bought a few of them. We were gonna give one or two as a gift to our relatives or friends. Soบางคนมักกินแต่ว่าบ่เคยขายจักเทื่อหรือว่าขายบ่เป็นหรือว่าบางคนก็บ่มักขายเพราะมันติดมือเนาะมันติดมืออย่างมันน่ะ so ก็จะบ่กินเพราะว่ามันเฮ็ดยากเปิดยาก so yeah, a lot of people didn't buy this fruit because it was difficult to open them. They are very sticky because they have saps. So here I have my container that I'm gonna put my jackfruit in. It has a lid, so I can just put the jackfruit in, put the lid in, and just stick it in the fridge. You can get a smaller container, but there's a lot of seeds in there, so a lot of fruit, so I usually get a bigger container. Sometime I would use a Ziploc bag. You definitely would need maybe like 5 of these, or at least a few of the larger bags. All the jackfruit comes in different sizes. Ours is kind of small this time, which we like it small. Instead of getting one big one, we decided to get a few smaller ones instead. It makes it easier and a little bit cheaper. And then the good part about getting the small one is you don't have to open all of them at the same time, so you don't have to eat them in a hurry. So instead we let 1 or 2 just sit there for another week, maybe 2 weeks before we open them, and we just open one and eat one. Wait till we're done, then we open the other one and eat the other ones. เราซื้อมาหลายเนาะครับว่าต้องเปิดมันพร้อมกันเปิดอันเดียวก่อนกินแล้วเลยกินเบิดแล้วเลยต้องเปิดตัวใหม่เพราะมันน้อยเนาะมันโมเมนต์ตัวใหญ่ so anyhow, so I got the container. What I had is a cutting board on the bottom. You can use anything else if you want because it's sticky. You want to protect your table. I have my newspaper that I'm going to throw away or recycle, so I decided to go ahead and put that there. Prevent the sap from sticking onto my cutting board. And then another thing that's very, very important. Of course, you need your knife because you're going to cut it. I have vegetable oil. This is canola oil. Any cheap oil will do. Okay, so you got the oil there. I took off my ring so it doesn't get my ring all dirty and sticky and full of oil. So I took my ring off. So you got this oil right here, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and put it all over my hand. It doesn't harm your hand because technically vegetable oil are good for your skin. It's like a lotion. But you will want to probably put some soap on and warm water and wash it off your hand later. So the other thing I'm gonna do before I cut them is I'm gonna put the oil on my blade. Be very careful because you don't want to touch that part, right? It's very sharp. So I'm laying down, head down, kind of somewhat flat, and slowly and gently put some oil on your knife. You use any knife that is sharp. I prefer the one that's a little bit longer so I can cut across easily. And I'm not going to cut this jackfruit in any fancy way because I'm not trying to make it ornamental. บ่ต้องตัดมันงามปานใดก็ได้เพราะว่ามื้อนี้บ่สนใจเฮ็ดให้มันงามปานใดเนาะว่าถ้ากินได้ก็พอ พอใจแล้ว Okay, so I'm going to cut it this way. You don't want to cut it this way unless you were trying to save it and put it back in the fridge. I prefer to cut it this way. And they're a little stiff. So do be careful, especially since you have oil on your hand. You don't want your hand to slip. ตัดระวังเพราะว่ามีน้ำมันอยู่ในมือเนาะแล้วก็มีดก็มีน้ำมันอีกระวังเด้อ Usually I have my husband here to cut them for me, let him use his muscle. But I don't have that extra muscle today, so I am cutting it myself. And honestly, this knife is sharp, but really is not as sharp as I would like him to be. one is not very ripe. It's like medium. And my husband swore up and down that, oh, it's ripe enough to eat. I mean, it is orange. You know, if you like it firm, slightly crunchy, then this would be good for you. This is perfect for cutting it up and putting it in dessert, like น้ำหวานเนาะใส่น้ำหวานตัดมันน้อยๆบางๆแล้วใส่น้ำหวานผู้ที่แซ่บแบบนี้นะเพราะมันบ่หวานหลายมันบ่สุกหลายแล้วมันบ่แล้ว So I'm gonna go ahead and move my oil out of the way. I'm gonna put one on the other side, but got my hair there. But see, I just cut that in half, and it is nice and orange, so it is ripe enough to eat. It's like yellowish orange. My husband liked the orange one, I like the yellow one, or I actually don't really care. But the flavor is almost the same, maybe slightly a little bit different. I think the orange one is slightly a little bit sweeter, I think, a little bit more fragrance. Sorry, I'm getting itchy and I can't touch my face because my hand has oil. So I'm gonna cut it again in one section, going this way, okay? There's some seeds in the middle, so you have to be careful because sometimes it doesn't go through the seed. How about that for doing it myself? I don't need no man muscles, right? I can do this myself. Super wife. That's what I like to refer to it as. You know, when you're doing something you need your husband for, but then you end up doing it yourself because he's not around. That's what I call super wife. So, as you can see, this is 2 sections of a half, so it's a quarter. So the reason why I do it that way is because I'm gonna cut this part out. This part right here. Again, be very careful with the knife, they are sharp. Definitely cannot cut this with a butter knife. Butter knife would not do. You'll be here forever. So I cut it off. There's a little bit left in there, but it's not a big deal. I can just throw it away. Trash can over there. A little bit more white part that I'm cutting off. Probably want to keep the trash can nearby, because you know you're gonna be throwing away a lot of stuff. You know, just like when you cut watermelon or any kind of melons, there's a lot of peel that you want to cut off, right? Now this is an optional part where you can cut the shell part off, or you can leave it, doesn't matter. The reason why I cut this white part off here is, check it out. Once you cut it off, you can just bend it and like, ta-da! See how it's much easier to bend? And you can see all the fruit, right? All the orange fruit. Another thing I like to do is actually get a small knife. They're good for like a carving knife, or you know what they call a fruit knife or dessert knife. I'll be right back. So I found my favorite pink knife that I just recently washed. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut these. This one just came off without me having to cut it. So this is the fleshy orange part that you cut and save and eat them. You know, if they're green, some people like to take all these little part here off, the little stringy part, and they shred it and then they cook it with barbecue sauce and whatever seasoning you prefer, and make into kind of like a pulled pork. Vegetarians love to do that. I don't care about that, and I'm not a vegetarian. So I'm gonna go ahead and, sorry, I'm doing that because I have gnats in the house. I have a lot of plants. As you can see, I have my bird cage back there, and they like to sing or talk to each other. I have a lot of plants. มีเพื่อนมาปลูกพักมีพักมีต้นไม้ มีดอกไม้หลายมีแมงไม้มันกวนประสาท Okay, so this is the orange part. Okay, they're sweet. This one is firm, not too what's the word I'm looking for? Not too ripe, so they're not mushy. It reminds me, never had before. บางคนบ่เคยกินเจอเนาะรสชาติคือผสมว่าหมักนัดหมักพายนาโป้เนาะหมักพายนาโป้กับหมักม่วงที่บ่ทันสุกเถื่อหมักม่วงที่กำลังมันๆนะ Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut the rest of them. So there's the other one here that is, you know, still attached to the skin. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the bottom part off. You see that? So I can grab it because I bent it and it kind of separated for me. Be careful with your finger. Of course, I am experienced, so I can do this faster and easier. This is not a race, so you do not need to do it in a hurry. Take your sweet time. So I'm cutting that off, and you see when you cut it off, there's all this stringy part. You know, if you don't want to use that or save it for your pulled pork vegetarian dish, then you can just throw it away, which is what I do. I just throw them away. So we're gonna cut that off. This is the reason why I need the smaller knife. Okay, so we're gonna cut that off. And when you cut that off, there's a lot of sticky and gooey stuff. So I'm getting all this little black stuff on my finger, which is from the seed, which is okay. It's harmless. Yeah. Okay, so this part there's still seed inside. Okay. ข้างในยังมีในอยู่สิเอาออกถ้าไม่อยากเอาออกก็ได้แต่กินบ่ได้เนาะใน actually you know I like กินได้อยู่ต้องต้มเอา so anyway some of you if you want to if you don't want to eat the seed you just take the seed out and you throw it away. Now the seeds are edible and I'm surprised if they haven't already called it superfood because the seed is really good. It's has a lot of nutrition. I kind of feel like the seed is almost like eating chestnuts. Have you ever had chestnut? Now I boil the seed roughly about maybe 15 minutes, and then after you boil the seed, then you're gonna peel this part off carefully. You know, it's like a really thin lining here, really thin shell. It is a pain in the butt to do it, and it's actually a little bit easier to peel it after you boil it. You know, ดึงทั้ง ปากมันออกเปลือกไม่มันเปลือกดึงเปลือกมันออกก่อนนี่เนาะจังกินได้ but you know มันยากเพราะว่าท่านต้มเตือนะถ้าต้มแล้วจะกินได้แล้วก็ต้มประมาณ10 นาทีเนาะ15 นาที20 นาทีนี่แหละต้มฉันจะใส่เกลือนิดนึงก็ได้นี่เนาะต้มแล้วมันเปลือกมันเอาออกง่ายกว่านี้ Okay, so that's if you can see the inside how it's kind of like a white flesh remind you of chestnut, right? But I'm not going to eat this because it's not boiled. So if you don't boil it, do not eat it because it could be toxic. You have to cook it first, okay? So I'm going to throw this away because I really don't care to deal with it right now. There's more. This is the gold mine right here. This is the part that you do eat. My hand gets really sticky from the sap and the oil and everything tends to just kind of attach itself to my hand right now. So good idea to keep the some napkins around too. So once again, you know, น้ำมันมันก็จะแห้งแล้วสิใส่ใหม่ So my hand is actually getting a little dry here. So I'm adding a little bit more oil to my hand. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this into my container bin that I'm using it to collect them. So far I have one beautiful jackfruit that I can eat. You know, when my husband and I do this together, you know, just like every cook, right? You know, especially when you're making something delicious, you know, you eat as you go. So it's like one in the bin, one in my mouth, one in the bin, one in my mouth, you know. So by the time you're done, you're like halfway full already, you know. ธรรมดาเนาะกิน เฮ็ดอาหารกินเนาะของแสบพวกกลัวกะเฮ็ดไปเฮ็ดมากลัวกินคั่วน้ำกินน้ำคั่วน้ำกินน้ำใส่ถ้วยอันนึงป้อนเข้าปากอันนึงเนาะ ของแสบเพื่อสิแล้วนะพวกคั่วอิ่มแล้วล่ะSo just pull it out. I'm really particular. I don't like anything stuck to it, so I clean it really well. But you know, you can always do that later too if you're not particular. So I hope everyone's having a great weekend right now. I know we just recently finished 4th of July. You had a good time. Maybe you have a barbecue with your family or friends. It's really hot right now. I am in Las Vegas. I live in Las Vegas. The temperature here is pretty hot and dry because we are in the desert, you know. It's over 100 degrees in the summertime, which is roughly about right now, June, July, August. The seed just came out by itself, and I partially cut it, so I'm gonna throw it away. I am gonna save some seed just in case I feel like boiling it later and use it as a snack. See, my parakeet back there, they're pretty talkative. They make a lot of noise. And I name them Tilly and Nilly. I did not buy them. I like to rescue animal or something like that, you know. It turned out that my neighbor somehow found the birds, or someone gave it to them, and they couldn't keep it, so they gave it to me. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. I wanted to let them go free, but I don't think they would survive in this environment. So I just decided to do the best I can to keep them comfortable. Give them plenty of food, plenty of water, give them shade. Sometimes I take them outside for fresh air. This one's a small one. Tonito Noi. And the other wonderful thing that I love about jackfruit, especially when they're on sale, is, you know, you can eat this fresh, just like I did, right? But if you don't want to eat it fresh, you can freeze them. You can freeze them. They freeze really well. And then you can defrost it later and eat them as is, or you can slice it up and put it in dessert. What I did was I cut it up after I froze them, cut it up in smaller pieces, throw them in the blender with some vanilla ice cream. Oh, here's a seed I can save. Throw them in the blender with some ice cream, a little bit of, you know, juice. You can put apple juice or orange juice or any kind of juice that's not too strong, you know, or other fruit juice. And then I blend it and make it into a smoothie. Maybe put a little bit of ice in there if you want to. It's delicious. It's nutritional, you know, natural, except your ice cream, depending on where you got your ice cream from. And it's refreshing and delicious. And the aroma from the jackfruit is just priceless. I mean, it's so unique. หวานหอม กินหอมมากินตัวนี้ You know, it smell nothing like durian. I know some of you had durian and probably didn't like it because the smell is just too strong for you and you don't like the way it smells. But this is different. It doesn't smell like onions or socks or anything like that. It does actually smell very floral. Definitely remind me of mango. You know, mango and a hint of pineapple and maybe a little bit of banana hint to it. You know, กินมันน้ำหอมคือหมักม่วง คือหมักม่วงกับหมักมี่คือหมักม่วงกับหมักนัดหมัก pineapple หมักยัง pineapple ภาษาเขาว่าสับปะรดบ่ บจือเนาะ ถามน้าสาวก่อนอยู่ไม่กาเฮิงแล้วมาอยู่ได้ไม่กลางแต่น้องยังน้อยแต่ประมาณ4 ปีพอนะเลยว่าภาษาลาวบางทีจือแน่บจือแน่ ตอนใดบจือก็ไปถามน้าสาวแหละ พ่อแม่เสียแล้วโอเคเอ็นบอกเอาซีดออก see how I just got it and flip it and then just took out the seed. You know, if you don't really care about freezing them and cutting them later, you don't have to take the seed out until you're ready to eat it, which is fine. It doesn't go bad. This is a good size one. See how the seed's in there? So you could just throw it in the freezer like this if you want to. I recommend taking it out because when you freeze them, then you want to cut it up later on for your smoothie or for your dessert. Then you don't have to deal with trying to get the seed out while the fruit is frozen and cold, you know? And it's a very time-consuming project to do when you cut a fresh jackfruit and you know, peel them and get all the little stringy stuff off. And then not everybody likes the feel of oil all over your hand for like over an hour, right? But it doesn't bother me. You know, I know that if you love something, you just gotta deal with it and get it done and over with, right? And the reward is at the end. You get fresh, delicious jackfruit, a fresh, delicious smoothie, jackfruit smoothie. If you haven't tried it, really, you really gotta give it a try. If you like mango and you like pineapple, you're gonna love having a jackfruit smoothie or a fresh jackfruit to eat. My husband likes to keep it in the fridge so it's nice and chilled before you eat it. Me, I don't care. I prefer it just room temperature is fine with me. See that? And there's the seed. It's like a little egg, just little treasure. So I got this part here that did not open up, so I'm just cutting it a little bit. You don't want to cut too much, because then you're cutting in between your fruit. See how I cut that out? Then I can just separate it. I mean, if you want to cut it, that's fine too. It happens, not a big deal. You can still eat it, it's still delicious. But I prefer to keep it one whole if possible. This one is not as ripe and it's towards the end of the fruit. Cut it up real quick. I think there's actually 2 of them stuck together, as you can see. Yep, it's like 2 of them stuck together, which is fine. You know, ตัวนี้มันใกล้หัวมันใกล้ก้นมันนั่นบ่ซุปปันใดยังหวานอยู่เขาจะกรอบๆนิดนึง a little bit crunchy, firm, because it's towards the head or the end of it, so it's not as ripe. I have a chair here, but I don't even like to sit down when I'm doing something. Let's stand up. This one, the seeds already came off. See, I'm just taking out all this little stringy part here. Comes off very easily. You know, as you can see, because my hand has oil in it, there's no sap and it doesn't stick to me. And it doesn't really have that much sap right now. Some of them have a lot of sap, some of them don't. Usually the ripe one is not so bad. So you can take this off, see. You don't have to. I mean, it's edible, it's not poisonous, just a little chewy. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish cutting the rest of this. Maybe I show you step by step and from beginning to the end. I will probably be here for like an hour or 2, and that's I'm sure you got other things you wanted to do for those remaining time. But now you know that that's what you do when you cut open a jackfruit. That is how you eat them and what you can use them for. You know, you can put it next to other fruit and it's just beautiful. Like a fruit tray. Great as a party tray. When you're taking it to a party or when people come over to your house for dinner. It's a beautiful gathering and people are quite impressed that we have exotic fruits here in the United States. And some people have never tried it